Welcome to the Mind and Body Shop. This is Alfredo Zapata. And in today's show, we're going to talk about something very, very much polemic called the importance of exercise. And as you know, in the world, for the past, I will say 50 years, it's been a very much a part of the people's life to exercise, to be active. And I think sometimes we get a little bit confuse or divert from what is actually the meaning of exercise. And I think moving every day and doing our activities is not considered of exercise. And people have been kind of trying to emulate things that people did in the past, like harvest the different places that you plant things to survive and being in the fields and different places, but more physically. And I think sometimes the exercise became a part of an enhancement of what is actually now called exercise. For people to be healthy, and obviously, once we're born, we normally start doing things, moving. When we're babies, and sometimes we don't take it too important. We just kind of take it for granted that it's part of the process of being born, getting taken care of by the parents, and start our journey in life. Start moving, trying to have a little more gross motor skills, trying to operate our mind, our bodies, and sometimes the exercise is kind of a little bit foreign. And I'm talking about now in this century, because now with so much going on in the world, just the development of different things, and the discovery of different areas where the people are using like vehicles, using bicycle, using different modes of transportation. And I mentioned that because sometimes we don't take it seriously, the importance of exercise. And I'm not just talking about regular exercise that you see on the magazines or now on the videos, or people talking about, playing a football game, playing sports, but mainly having the body strength, the muscles, and the movement to become more dynamic. And I'm talking about dynamic, not like these superheroes are in the movies and jumping and lifting things and stuff like that. Because I think sometimes people can go to the other route and say, "Well, I don't want to be like these guys. I want to just be useful, being able to do my normal routines." And people who like to practice sports, like a team sports, like I play in Mexico growing up. Soccer was one of the main things that I play, but it wasn't quite the main core in my case. It was more like feeling active, feeling dynamic, even though I didn't comprehend what the meaning, but just moving myself in different areas, like jumping from like a little sidewalk, or like climbing up a tree and things like that. It started giving me that stamina, that energy, that confidence. And I think is that one of the important, and sometimes we lose because so much of what's going on in the world, the technology and everything else. So just think about what would happen if we all go back to the countryside, if we all have to milk the cows, we all have to herd the cattle, and trying to get the water from the well and go to the river, wash the clothes. Eh, Imagine how would that be the life of everybody, how we communicate. We wouldn't have a cell phone to send a text, or a computer to do a video call or something. We'll have to either sometimes walk, or sometimes even wait for someone to travel by, I don't know, by a mule, by a horse, by a river, by something, to get to that place where we are and meet and talk and do things in a group as a community. And now we need to go back to those roots. And I'm talking about this particular topic, the importance of exercise, especially in this new 2021. I mean, sorry, 2021, because now a lot of things have changed. Even though you go outside and it looks the same, you know, the cars passing by, the everything, but sometimes we don't pay attention of what's going on in our bodies. Why? Because our mind continues to work in a different speed, and the body is the one that we don't take care of. So, you know, being a fitness and nutrition coach for many decades and helping people with solutions, but no conventional solutions, but more like a simple but effective. I came to realize that that's the main thing that people look for. They don't look for complicated stuff, even though there is new trends of things like CrossFit, like jumping, and like the sports, and especially now in this 2021, then is this big event that is called the Olympics. But let's take a look at the importance of exercise based on a big association in United States, ACSM. And, you know, they talk about the improve the memory, the brain function, protecting against many chronic diseases, the weight control, the lower blood pressure, improve health in the heart, improve quality of sleep, also reducing, you know, the different emotional states, especially now, anxiety, depression, and some of the possible chronic diseases could be helped by doing exercise. But my question is, how are you taking that into consideration? Are you really seeing yourself like a sport athlete, like an Olympic athlete, to take care of it? And I'm asking that question because some people think that do exercise requires so much, and that's totally out of the question because it's not true. There's a lot of myth. There's a lot of information outside. But you know, the American Council of Exercise says that physical activity and fitness are used, obviously, like I mentioned, to enhance the skeleton, the muscles, and the increase of caloric requirement to move the body and energize that body to give a more uh, peace of mind, but also more focus in whatever they do in the regular activities that they do. And you know, sometimes we take it too complicated because we don't look at where we're capable. And you know, having a fitness and different type of exercise in the world, I kind of feel like sometimes we don't take it more simple, but applying it to our own activity, our own life, and we don't look at what we actually need. You know, some of those points that they mention are pretty important, and they're kind of like a standard. Like when you go to your checkup or when you see on television, and they say, well, we recommend that you eat fruits and vegetables, and you do exercise 30 minutes or something like that, 4 or 5 times a week. But what about internalizing what each of us, each of you need? Because you know, we talked in the past show about the importance of doing a little inventory and to see where we're at, and that is going to be the main point to start something. And you know, I wanna comment on this particular example, this teaching that my grandpa taught me when I was growing up, and he was like a handyman. He had like a little table, like a working table outside of the house, and he will work. He had some tools. He was able to do some electric work, some or carpentry work, some plumbing, some different kind of things like handy. And it was so interesting to see him because he was so precise in whatever he was doing. He was focused on it. And I will ask him, Grandpa, can you teach me how to do this? How to nail, how to hammer a nail, how to sand the wood, how to do different things. And I remember one example that really get me so much emotional, but also excited because it was a big, big, big lesson for me because I was trying to sand this piece of wood. They were gonna do something with it, and I was doing it wrong. I was kind of sweeping from the middle and coming back, kind of like shaking my tool. And he will say, "No, you have to think before you do. You don't do, and then you think." And that was something that currently applies to a lot of things because sometimes we wanted to do exercise because this is the topic of the show, but I'm saying that we don't think about what we're going to do. We just do whatever. And there's this famous sports brand that it has a slogan that talks about just doing it. But if we think of what we're going to do, it's going to make a big difference in the results and also in the continuity of those uh, practice in this exercise topic, because it's going to help us to get results, not to be discouraged, but to actually have a little pattern. Because yeah, that's great that you need to try it and then you need to do it and you need to continue to create a habit and become part of you and then change your lifestyle and everything else. But if we don't think and we just get excited, either anxious or excited and saying we need to do it because that's what they told us or that's what I need, but sometimes we don't even know what we need. So people start going to different routes and they see on video, they see on the magazine, on the radio, on the podcast or whatever. And they say, okay, well, yeah, they say that now these exercise are the ones good for the body. They're good for losing weight. They're good for strengthening my body because I play sports or I have this surgery that I'm recovering, so I need to do this exercise. But it's kind of like a very abstract concept because when they come to me, and I've seen it many times at the gym or privately or even, excuse me, even through Zoom, and people say, Alfredo, I wanted to lose some weight because I feel sluggish or I want to get married or I have this injury. But when I start asking them specific questions, most of the time they don't know why, because they want something. But when I start asking them specific questions, they don't know how, obviously, that's why they come to me, but they don't know the importance of the steps that you need to take in order to get results. Because you can go and have fun and enjoy, sweat, and have fun with your friends or just by yourself, put your headphones and forget about the exercise. You just do something like a movement, like a motion, without knowing what's really going on with this type of movement, that exercise that you think you're doing. And I'm talking about that because it's very different to do a muscle contraction doing a particular exercise to get results. If you don't think in flexing your abdominals or your biceps of or your quads or any part of your muscles to do a particular exercise, you're only going to be doing a movement. In that movement, it might get you tired, it might get you out of breath, it might get you start sweating and maybe get some endorphins going and feeling good. But that's it. It won't be any tangible results. Those benefits are gonna fade like the wind, just running through your face, and that's about it. So imagine you become selected, you're chosen, and saying you're gonna be an athlete. And I'm setting this example for you to think, to see yourself as an athlete. Depending, it doesn't matter what is your condition currently, but just imagine. Then they said, you know, you are being chosen out of your town, out of your country, because we have uh, good eye on your abilities to perform this type of exercise. So I want you to prepare because you're going to be competing and going to nationals, international contests. How will you see yourself in that particular position, saying, "Well, I've been chosen. Well, they said I have talent. I didn't know. So what do I do?" Kind of like you don't know how to drive and you get a brand new car handed to you and they say, okay, here's your car and go and drive it. What are you going to do? How are you going to feel? In my case, I'll be excited, but also kind of puzzled because I'm going to feel like, how do I do it? I know I have this gift they gave me. I know they told me that I have capabilities. I don't know where are they, or I haven't seen them, or I don't feel like I do. So what the athlete do, because most of the time they have a coach or someone who teaching them, a trainer, a particular person, they guide them to start doing this. So first of all, you don't know how, but they know because they have the knowledge and they're helping you to think. That's why what I remember of my grandpa saying that you gotta think first before you do. So you gotta think what to do. So you're the prototype of an athlete. So you need to have a standard balance of like an inventory and saying, well, okay, what do I need to do? I need to check up my body, what body parts I'm gonna be using, what's the timing, how the game plays, and everything else. So that's how we need to do it in order to have a particular plan to practice and to excel in this particular sport. And I'm asking you those questions for you to imagine that, because when you imagine, you're able to see yourself in a different place, know where you are now. And that is start giving you the power of a good intention to make a change, to help your body, because your mind is thinking for your body and it's gonna guide it to make those changes. And I've seen it with different demographic of individuals that I've been working with. And it's amazing because you don't realize, but the impact that has this particular guidance is like you give them the info into a computer program, and that program start making those changes, which is the body. You're telling the body because you're guiding the body into practicing that particular sport, and you start becoming confident because you know how, and then you become competent because then you start doing it in the right way. So your performance in doing the exercise is gonna magnify the results. Why? Two people, you have them with the same qualification, the same weight, the same height, maybe the same age, and maybe they're from different parents, but you give them the same protocol to develop their abilities and to play and perform this exercise. but one of them is not trusting, is not really excited about it. It's just doing it for pure pressure from the parents. So the time passed by, the 6, 12 weeks passes, and what do you think is going to be the results on the one who was doing it out of obligation? And I mentioned this example because majority of time in life, we do things out of obligation, not out of a commitment to actually do it. So in terms of exercise, sometimes we do the exercise out of obligation, out of pressure, but not because we really like it, because we really value, because we see the importance. And that's what's going to happen with a lot of people, which is a big percent. And I don't want to talk about percentage to scare you, but I'm sure you heard that only few people can get tangible results. And I've seen it for more than 30 years in different places with different demographics. The only few people get tangible results and they change their their lifestyle, their habits and their health. And the exercise is one of the parts very, very much important because once you become aware of that importance, your life can have a big shift. And I'm talking not just because you're going to be looking at the pictures of before and after, like in the magazines, but because of the quality of life that you're going to have. Because if you introduce that, you're gonna become one of the few in the world who are using the physical activity as a part of the enhancement for your lifestyle. And especially now that we have a different way of life, even though like I said, everything it looks the same. Some people they may have the same clothes, same haircut, and everything, but everything had been changed. And if we have those alternatives, which are like everywhere with so much information, we're going to be able to really enjoy and fulfill incredible things that we wanted to do, but we didn't know that we're able to. And that's just eliminating our limits. That anybody who's alive can be exercising and get benefits because you're thinking why you're doing it. And then you become a part of what you do on the regular basis. Then you won't have any more limits that block you from not doing it. If there is people with no legs, with no arms, who are doing physical activity, or even people who have like paraplegic, like really difficult body limitations, but their mind are developed in a way that even if it is assisted with some type of tool or with some machine or even with people, they are doing things. And I've seen it in many times. I have a friend who's a pro bodybuilder athlete in a wheelchair, and he has many talents, but he overcame his accident. It was a automobile accident where he turned his life around. And it's not someone who just sit on his chair or on his bed and say, I'm miserable and my life is over, because this thing happened when he was relatively young. He overcame that and is one of the people in my circle of friends who've been a great inspiration. He's a great friend. We work together in Los Angeles and Gold's Gym Venice and another gym as well. But I'm saying that he didn't see the limitation. He overcame. Obviously, it was a very big challenge in his life, but the exercise was the answer for him to open up his mind, to eliminate those limits, and to really devote his life to become healthier from the inside out. So that's why here in the Body and Mind Shop, I'm talking about the different alternatives and the different ways and the examples and the how you can break those and really make a better lifestyle, because that's the key. If you can improve in a regular basis, how do you live, how do you communicate, how do you do things in life, you're really gonna be incredibly pleased, no matter what level or status you're at currently. But like I say always, as long as you're alive, you have that chance to make those transitions, and that really excites me so much because I've seen it with many people. That it's not just the conventional activity that people say, "Oh, I need to exercise," but to have different routes where it opens your mind and it really feels part of you. It's not, like I said, out of an obligation. It's out of a devotion to your body to take care of it, doing something that is enhancing you. It's like a dynamo. I don't know if you see those. There was some type of like a game before that you will shake it, like those yo-yos. They have like a little spin thing. It has some lights every time you throw it and you catch it, and it will generate that energy. That energy is what the our bodies are made with energy. And as long as we continue in movement, that energy is gonna continue to flow and to help us to do incredible things in life, not just physically, but mentally. Because when everything is working smoothly, that really takes a different shift in how we approach things, especially now that we have this new well, they call it new normality, but for me it's not normal. It's just a new chapter in life to live with more awareness of our bodies, our minds. So that's why here in the Body Shop, we talk about all these different areas, and the next show you don't want to miss it, because we're going to talk about something internal that happens in the body that affects the mind, and that's something very excited because I started working with this partner of mine, which is part of a big U.S. Community that has to do with that. But that's for the next show, and I just wanted to emphasize a little bit on this right now before we say goodbye. The exercise doesn't have to be the conventional thing. The you gotta play something, you gotta go out somewhere, you gotta be in a team, you gotta put the gear, you gotta buy the shoes, the equipment. No, no, you can apply different small changes in those particular activities, in those exercise, because it could be like a clapping your hands, raise your arms, clap your hands, move your body parts. That is going to enhance that energy in your body. That is going to be considered physical activity, not just going for a walk. Excuse me, not just going for a bike ride, not just going for like a tennis match, for like a golf, or for like a basketball or swimming. No, using the resources that you have now. Like, for example, at home, a lot of people, they still at home. And some people, like myself, I've been doing things from home in variety of areas. and it's been no difficult. It's just changing my mindset and how I do things and how do I use the resources. So to become resourceful and to actually do exercise that you haven't done. Because people say, well, I haven't done this and it's very difficult. I used to do this and now I don't do it. Kind of like trying to compare. And that's what when it comes to eliminate your limits. If you want to do exercise, just forget about the conventional stuff. Just do something else. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of information that I share with people over the social media about doing just things that are no they're no conventional. They're no quote unquote okay because someone said it wasn't okay. But just because you're doing something, that really counts so much on your lifestyle because you start ingraining that in your brain. And this example, just to finish up, then I did collaborate with the Salvation Army in in Santa Monica, California, for like about 2 years. It was this website, and I wanted to do something for the community. That I want to share part of my time to feel useful, to feel great. And so I volunteer. I look on this website, and I volunteer as a coach, as a physical activity coach for this retirement place in Santa Monica. And I went once a week. I applied through that website, so they got me to talk to the director of activities with this community of retired people, and it was great because I started sharing my heart about my wanting to collaborate and give something to society, to the community, and they accept me, and we start meeting once a week in like a little room, like occupancy. Maybe there were like 10, 15 people, maybe a little more, but no more than that. And it was a group of seniors who were coming, some of them in a walker, some of them with a with a hand assisted, and some of them they were like walking pretty slow, and most of them were with a gray hair. But it was amazing, and you know what? Majority were female, and it was just incredible to see them with that sparkling, uh, you know, eye, and trying to look of what we're gonna do with that, the whole thing. They introduced me and everything, and it was so excited. Why? Because we start doing things out of the ordinary. I put music, Glenn Miller music. I sat them on the chairs. We start talking little jokes. We start doing little calisthenics, little stretchings in their body. We start making jokes. We start playing some games with like a little foam sponge, like a ball. And then later we did something like a little basketball hoop, but those are the ones that you put on the pool to play, like weightless basketball ball. And we start passing around, and we start giving prizes, and it was just amazing. Every time I went there for like 2 years, the people were so excited at the end, and they were saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, Alfredo, because this hour energized me for the whole week, so I can feel better. I know my body is moving, the blood is flowing, and I feel great. Thank you for helping us to exercise and motivate our minds." And I was just going home with that incredible feeling that in that particular place, I was making a difference because I was enhancing the confidence of people, seniors who might be with some terminal illness, with some type of situation with their body function, mobility, but they were excited because they felt active, they felt energized. And that was so exciting because it was a non-conventional way to motivate the mind so the body can start functioning in the better way with better attitude. And that was just exciting. So I invite you to think about what to do to enhance your lifestyle and do some type of exercise. It doesn't have to be like a major 2 hour workout, lifting weights and stuff. And for the people they do that, that's great. But think about why you're doing it. And if what you're doing is giving you results, a tangible result, that's very simple. I work with bodybuilders, with athletes, with celebrities, with different people, but majority of time we'll talk about why you're doing it, what is the purpose of it, how are you doing it, and I will go more in depth on that with them. But just start doing something in a consistent base, making it part of your life, and you're going to start reaping those results little by little, little by little. The same way that you start crawling on the ground before you start walking, just the same way. It doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete, if you're someone who already doing various sports, and you're like really in good shape, or someone who have an injury, or someone who hasn't done any exercise. Don't think about exercise like something that you don't like. Just think about the exercise of moving your body in the more dynamic way to enhance function and life, and motivation to live. So stay tuned for the next show because it's going to be great. I already gave you a little hint of what we're going to talk. Is going to be in depth, how the inside of our body need to be connected with our brain, how it works, and how we can make it to really give us the health that we all want, because we don't want to feel sick. That's for sure. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and stay tuned. Share it if you think there was some value for you with your friends, with anybody. And we'll see you in the next time. Have a good one. And don't forget to connect mind and body. See you later.